Super Bowl 60 is only in a few days, and I'm going to break down how to bet the big game. We're going to run through the spread, the game total, and then a bunch of different bets that I like for Super Bowl 60 between New England and Seattle. Currently, Seattle is favored. They were favored to open they were favored by 3.5. It jumped to 4.5. So they're currently favored by 4.5. And the over-under is 45 points. Oh, this is actually nice. Kind of breaks down. You got injuries on the right side. A bunch of different props. So we'll kind of just go through a couple of these here, and then I'll go over to Twitter. Go to some that I actually really do like for Sunday. Looking at the touchdown props here, only gives a few guys. Out of these names, I like JSN at his value. I really like Cooper Kupp at that value and Diggs at that value. Plus 1,400, plus 1,500 for first touchdown score would be awesome. I would bet either Kupp or Diggs over any of those guys above them for first touchdown score, just because they have so much experience already in the playoffs, and for Cooper Kupp in the Super Bowl. I definitely value that experience, so I think that's a good flyer bet. I really looked into the both the passers, Darnold and May, and I really don't like any of their props. If you go into just their past couple games and look at each of their stat lines, like I'll go over here. So let's say Drake May, for example. So his passing prop's at 225 and a half, 222 and a half, and then he's actually plus money to throw 2 touchdowns, which definitely could happen. But if you go down to here, I mean, he played Denver, Houston in the playoffs, and the Chargers, really, all great defenses. He threw 3 touchdowns against Houston, but then 0 against Denver in a really crappy environment, but then also only 1 against the Chargers. And then down here, even 1 against Miami in the last week of the regular season. So I don't know if I would trust the 2+ passing touchdowns. From what I'm looking at, I think I like the under in this game. I really just don't know what I'm going to get from May and Darnold. Both defenses have been really good in the postseason, and not just both their pass defenses, both their run defense as well. Drake May could run a little bit. He has the potential to run for 60 yards. So you could definitely throw something on that. I'm sure his line's not that high. Yeah, 38.5. I could see him going over that in a game where he just has to run. Like 86 passing yards, 179 passing yards. I don't know if he's going to go over 222. And then if you go over to Sam Darnold here, so his line's 229.5. He's about even money for 2 passing touchdowns. But if we go down here, so yeah, he kind of shredded the Rams. But before that, against decent defenses in San Francisco, 124, 198, not even that good of a defense, Carolina. But San Francisco played twice, didn't get over 200 yards, and only threw 1 touchdown in those games combined. And he didn't really have to because of Kenneth Walker, I will say. He did have to throw here, so I'm really just not sure what to expect. That's why I'm kind of staying away from both the quarterbacks. Running backs I do like. I'll just go over here because I know I have this. So here are just three props that I liked early. Kenneth Walker over 2.5 receptions. He's been a really good option out of the backfield, especially that Charbonnet is out. not going to play. He should get the bulk of the carries. Kenneth Walker has three or more catches in 4 of his last 5 games. So it's pretty much as surefire as you can get. Obviously, it's a great New England defense, but I think Sam Darnold will check down to Kenneth Walker and rely on him. And like he's getting around 20 touches. He's got 4 and 3 receptions in the playoffs. So I think he'll get used a lot. I expect that to go over. This one I've been kind of flipping back and forth on. Early last week, I really liked Hunter Henry under his receptions. Now, I know Seattle has not defended well against tight ends, but Hunter Henry has not played well, really, in the playoffs. He's played 3 games in the playoffs, and, well, in his last 5 combined, he's only been over 3.5 in 1 of those games. Right, like Seattle has a great defense, just like Denver and Houston did. And maybe he catches a big one at some point during the game that he takes him over his yardage, but like he's still minus money to go over the 3.5. I'm just really not really sure on this one. I don't feel super confident, but like 2 receptions, 1 reception, 3 receptions, all in the playoffs. I mean, it just doesn't bode well for him in this game, but you never know. It could be a different story, and he might catch a big one, go over 40 yards receiving. I wouldn't be shocked at that, but I could see him ending up with like 3 receptions in the Super Bowl. So under is what I'm going with there, and then I do like JSN to score a touchdown. He scored in both their playoff games this season, and he's definitely Darnold's go-to receiver. He's also I did a little bit of digging into this. He has a 27.4% target share inside the red zone, which ranked 12th in the regular season in the NFL, and that's by far the highest for Seattle as far as target share. So like I said, I think he scored twice. Yeah, so scored in both games, playoff games. Obviously, against San Francisco, didn't really have to do much, but did score a touchdown early in that game. So I do like him to get in the end zone. And a first touchdown bet I don't think would be a bad bet either. I think Seattle probably scores first. They scored first in most of their games this season. And then let's go back. Okay. And then I just posted a bunch more player props that I like. So Stephon Diggs anytime touchdown. He's already scored once in the playoffs, and it's pretty good odds for him to score. The reason I do like him in the Super Bowl is he's the leading target share of anyone on the Patriots, 21%. And I feel like when New England gets in the red zone, May is either handing the ball off or looking towards Diggs on some type of like slant route. Like you can see in most of these games, he doesn't have many yards at all. But like against Denver, 5 catches, only 17 yards. Houston, 4 catches, 40 yards. He's like slant routes, real short routes. Diggs excels at, and I think that could lead to a potential touchdown in the Super Bowl for him. All right, another one I've really liked as well, Kenneth Walker. I like him having a big game. I know that New England's defense has been pretty good throughout the playoffs, and then also in the regular season, but in the playoffs, they've really, really excelled. But Kenneth Walker has been incredible. He's been over 99.5 rushing plus receiving yards in both of their playoff games. He was at 145 and 111. The game atmosphere bodes well for him. It's going to be nice weather. There's no rain or snow, or It's not even going to be cold, so it's a good environment for him to run. And I think if they do get up early, they could lean on him a lot. Even if it's out of the backfield, catching a couple passes, that wouldn't surprise me either. And then obviously Charbonnet. Yeah, so Charbonnet's still out, obviously out the rest of the season. And the second back, I don't even know who that is. Let me look. So it looks like Halani might be the second back. Yeah, so you got a couple touches in their previous matchup. I just think Walker should be on the field at least 80% of offensive snaps, if not more. So I think he's going to be a big part of their game plan. All right. Another one, I do like Mac Hollins. His receiving line is kind of low, I think, 26.5. He came back in the playoffs. He's cleared 26.5 in all three of his past games. Now, he only played in one playoff game, and it was 2 weeks ago against Denver. 2 catches for 50 yards. I think he could show up in a big way, and I think it really only takes 1 or 2 catches for him to go over the 26.5. And if Seattle decides to throw their 1 and 2 DBs on Diggs and Henry, I think Mac Hollins or I like Mac Hollins or Kayshon Boutte. Either of those guys could easily go over. See, like he had a rough game against Denver, only caught 1 catch, and then Hollins caught the big catch. So I think either one of those guys is going to have like a 50 receiving yard game. I just don't know exactly which one. I lean Mac Hollins. The line's a little bit lower, and he did just come back. The other games with Boutte were only without Mac Hollins in the lineup. So hopefully May can lean on Mac Hollins a little bit at least. Yeah, like I said here, might find themselves in a situation where they need to throw. Like I said, if Seattle goes up early, New England's going to need to throw. Denver ranked 7th best against the pass. Seattle's a little bit lower than Denver. He still went over, so that's why I like Mac Hollins a little bit to go over that receiving total. And then last one I wrote up here on Twitter was Cooper Kupp, and I like him to score a touchdown. I also like him a little bit of a flyer, but first touchdown, you could throw a couple bucks on it. Plus 1,600, you're not really going to get odds like that anywhere else, especially for a guy who has been to the Super Bowl. He's won Super Bowl MVP before. Veteran receiver, I think Darnold would be a fool not to at least target him a couple times early and try to rely on someone who's already been to the Super Bowl. And then if we go to his previous games, scored 2 weeks ago against the Rams, and has been getting targeted consistently. 6 targets, 5 targets against Rams and San Francisco, both in the playoffs. So I wouldn't be shocked if Darnold leans on Cooper Kupp a little bit in this game. And that's all I really have as far as bets for over here that I wrote up. I go over here to ESPN, just see a couple other things if I like or don't like. So I go over here. So if we go to the defensive rankings, obviously, not Broncos, Seahawks, Patriots, both top 10 defenses. Playoffs, Patriots have obviously held their teams to a lot less yards. that the game 2 weeks ago really helped against Denver because Denver couldn't do much with the weather and then the quarterback situation. But if we go down to just passing and rushing, if we break it down, so Patriots are here, Seahawks are here, about even. They're both pretty good against the pass. Like, Patriots only giving up 138 yards on average doesn't bode well for Sam Darnold. But I also don't think they've faced an offense as good as Seattle, so that could change that, obviously. And the Seahawks have allowed 246 yards on average through just passing. And then rushing. Yeah, so Seahawks were elite during the regular season, ranked 3rd. Patriots ranked 6th in the regular season. So top 10 defenses on via the pass or the rush. It's going to be a tough game. I really do think if I had to lean over under, I would lean under the 45.5, and then probably New England plus the 4.5. I would take in this one, but I think it could go either way. What are his carries at? Yeah, Kenneth Walker carries over under is 18.5. That's right at where I would put it. He's been at 19, I believe, both previous games. He could go over that, could go right back to like 19, 20. I feel like Stevenson should go over 14.5 rushing attempts, but if they get down early, then I could also see it easily going under as well. It all really is based on game script. And I do think Seattle will pull out ahead first. But that pretty much wraps up the bets for the Super Bowl. If you do want to stay updated on parlays and betting for the Super Bowl, it'll all be over here on my Twitter at Nolan Klein Bets. Doing, obviously, for the Super Bowl, doing a bunch. I've got a NBA parlays going pretty much daily at this point. So make sure to check all that out. And this probably will be one of the last live streams for a little while as far as football goes, just with the Super Bowl coming and going. I will have daily videos out for fantasy football and real life type football stuff as well. I think I'm going to do a video breaking down the top draft picks from last year, and then we'll dive into the prospects for this year. That should be a lot of fun. See, where guys should go or what teams need what. That'll be a lot of fun. So be sure to check that out. Hit the like button, subscribe for more, and we'll be back very soon with some more fantasy football and overall football content in general.